Stunning left hand again. Look at this counter. Boom, over the top, on the jaw.
Hello pro strikers. In this video, we'll be looking at the most dangerous punch in MMA, the counterpunch. They say it's the ones you don't see coming that hurt the most, and that is the whole point of counterpunching. A counterpunch is a boxing punch that immediately follows an attack launched by an opponent. By making an opponent miss, you put them out of position and often off balance, with them being overcommitted on their own strike. They are solely focused on landing their attack, which means they are not expecting to be hit, thus won't see the counterpunch coming. Counterpunching is just a normal part of boxing, with the aim of the game being to hit and not get hit. But the smaller 4-ounce gloves in mixed martial arts leave little room for error and significantly increase the damage caused by punches landed. Therefore, putting in the time to be a proficient counterpuncher is a worthwhile endeavour.
Right on the button.
There are several distinct types of counterpunch opportunities. The first we'll look at is evading a strike to make a miss and make them pay. Evading a strike by slipping, rolling or pulling back is a defensive skill within itself, but to then capitalise with a counter is the next level. In this example, we see Conor McGregor knock out Ivan Buchinga. In this Southpaw vs Orthodox matchup, it's left hand versus right. We can see Conor begins to time the right hand of Buchinga, slipping to the outside of it on several occasions before the final knockout blow. This is what's referred to in combat sports as making a read. First, Conor evades purely from a defensive standpoint, gaining a sense of the timing without attempting to counter. Once he feels comfortable and understands the distance he feels he can avoid it safely, he'll then start to fire back with a counter left hand.
Right on the button.
Timing. Now, all counter punches require timing, but in this case we are looking specifically at timing an opponent as they are striking and beating them to the mark. This could be in the midst of an exchange or as the opposing fighter is closing the distance. In this example, we see Brandon Vera time a counter hook as his opponent runs in to land one of their own. This is a great example of timing beats speed and precision beats power. Brandon has no load up in the strike. He's moving backwards as he throws it, and his arm is almost fully locked straight, which goes against everything taught when throwing a power hook. Due to his opponent running forward onto the strike, he doubles the impact of it. Anytime an opponent is out of stance, they are vulnerable. If a fighter has one or both feet off of the floor, they are more susceptible to being knocked out. Timing an opponent as they jump into attack or when they're kicking and on one leg, those are going to be optimal opportunities to deliver a counterpunch. The same can be said for timing intercepting punches on an opponent's blitz. If we can anticipate when a fighter rushes forward, potentially leaving their stance as they do so, this can be the best time to attack. The best fighters in the world can be knocked out if caught by a punch when out of stance. The counterpunch does not discriminate. Fighters have built entire careers through counterpunching. In fact, some of the best to ever do it have been prolific counter fighters. Good fighters capitalise on mistakes, great fighters make you make mistakes. And this about summarises the bait and switch. Lure an opponent to commit on a strike with a fake or false entry, then slide back to make a miss and counter. One of the finest examples of this in mixed martial arts was Prime McGregor winning the lightweight title against Alvarez. He used various tactics, such as having no guard, hands down by his waist, leaning his head forward, presenting it as a target, and outstretching his lead hand to give Alvarez a sense of distance, believing McGregor to be in range to hit, which is precisely what McGregor wants. Alvarez brings his rear shoulder forward, indicating that he's about to throw a right hand, and McGregor times it perfectly, sliding back mere millimetres out of the way of the oncoming punch to then deliver his own counter strikes. It was masterful. And when watching it in slow motion, you can really appreciate the skill which McGregor displayed. Catch counters. Now, the last, but by no means least, method to counterpunch we're going to look at today is a catch counter. Vicente Luque is a master of the catch into left hook. He will adopt a high guard, take the oncoming blows on the forearm and counter with a picture perfect left hook. As talked about earlier, the smaller gloves in mixed martial arts make a high guard less efficient, which is why fighters in MMA will bring their forearms much higher to protect themselves rather than just relying on the glove. Now this obviously leaves a fighter open to body shots, but if the defending fighter is setting up their own counterpunch, it is a fantastic lure. Whereas the bait and switch will usually be offered with hands down, presenting the head forward, which is a little riskier having no guard and requires much better timing. Counterpunching from the tight high guard is a much safer option and can have just as big a reward. Catching kicks can also be a surefire way to land a devastating punch. As much as reaching for low kicks is ill-advised, as there is a risk of being set up for a head kick, a successful catch counterpunch can mean an instant victory. When catching a body kick, the opponent's leg is fully extended, meaning they are often too far away to punch without first dealing with the leg and manoeuvring it out of the way. But when catching a low kick, the opponent is often in perfect range to hit, shoulders squared and a sucker for the counter backhand. Counterpunching is an art form, but it can be trained, and pro striking suggests putting in some time into perfecting it. If you aren't the fastest or most reactive fighter, then using something like a catch counter could be right up your street. What's your favourite method of countering? Do you like evading, catching, or having an exchange and finding holes within the pocket? Let me know in the comments below. Pro striking out, I'll catch you later.
Right on the button. Stunning left hand again. Look at this counter. Boom, over the top, on the jaw. Right hand. And a big one to the temple.